What's up? What's up? This is Dean Anthony TV. I'm here to review the What If episode. What if Doctor Strange lost their heart? Episode 4. So 4. It starts off with the Watcher saying that there are strange consequences. Stephen Strange meets Christine in the car and they talk. Then they start driving and suddenly they crash and fall off a cliff. Christine is dead. Then he goes back and he makes alterations to the timeline. Then the H1 tells him that he's getting lost, and he gets his medallion and he uses it. So he goes back in time to meet his wife again and tries to see them. They get back in the car, but then they fall off the cliff. Then it's a third time they get in the car and they miss their turn. Then there's another time when he just went and got pizza, and the same thing happens, and so on. He starts crying, and the H1 appears. The death of Christine is an absolute point in time, and he can't change that. He ends up in the jungle, and a guy with the Raiden-like hat appears, and he asks him for directions. He didn't respond to him. And then he goes to a temple nearby. He falls to the floor. He wants to break an absolute point in time. He goes to get the books. Then when he uses the spells, the octopus comes out of the floor, but then it sucked his soul, so he gets weirder and weirder. So he turns a little evil, and then he finds another. He finds out that he's trying to cast spells to get the more evil creatures to come into him, so he could turn evil, and to try to get his girlfriend back, but it turns for the worse. That H1 appears, and there's strange direction and destruction in the whole world. So everything is breaking down. Buildings are crashing, and you see like the darkness are going around everybody. So then they find out that the H1 brought in another Strange to stop him. So now there are two in the universe. So then he meets his evil self, and they start arguing, and then he was telling him that they could both get Christine and come back if it just merged together. So then they fight. It was a great fight. They were fighting all over the place. They float in the air, and they fall to the sky. And then all of a sudden he fell to the floor, but then he appears right upside on the pavement, right up in the other way. So he fall through the portal and came up the other way, which I thought was cool. And then his evil self actually turned into Christine to convince him, and then he almost fell for it. Then he realized that it wasn't her, which I thought was crazy. Then they turned back and they started fighting. And then then what happened is that he basically took the evil him, basically sucked in the other person, so he basically turned into they turned into one. And then what happened is that he gets Christine in a different dimension, and then she doesn't even recognize him because all the parts of the other creatures all appeared as he was looking to him. So she ran away from him, and then he lost her again. So then the Watcher comes in and then stops him. And then it stops him, and then the whole. But the thing what happened is that he already did the damage, so then the whole universe is basically destroyed, and then he cries, and that's the end of the episode. I thought it was a pretty good episode. It actually felt different than the usual Marvel things, which is a good thing. This one reminds me more of like the Spawn story, because that's the same thing happened to Spawn. He wanted to get his wife Wanda, and so what happens is that he got killed by the army, and Juan, the Juan guy, evil Juan guy, and then he gets killed because he didn't listen to the Juan guy. So he goes back to the underworld, and then he comes back to Earth, but he ends up appearing as a different person. He has a burnt face. So then he tries to get Wanda back, but he realizes they can't really get her back. She's gone, because she's not even going to be able to recognize him. So it kind of reminds you of that story, which I thought was pretty cool. I give the episode about 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. I can't wait for the next one, episode 5.